content manager for Techstrong.
Let's just check volume. Sorry. Can you hear in the back? Can you hear Amanda? Does she get it up a little bit? Up a little bit. Okay. Because you're under the vent. That's what it is.
Oh, okay. Hello, I'm Amanda Razani. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I am a content manager for a technology company. I manage all the content predominantly for 3 sites. Those are Techstrong AI, Digital CXO, and Techstrong IT Service Management. On top of that, I travel to technology conferences throughout the year as a journalist, and I am a podcaster. I have 4 different technology podcast series that I do with a co-host and with guests from technology companies. So that's my background.
Amanda, nice to meet you.
Yay!
And here.
Okay, I am Mary Hamilton. I am co-founder and CEO of a managed service provider, which you guys will not know what that means. And that just means that I help protect small, medium businesses from hackers stealing and destroying their companies, and then enabling them to actually run profitably and efficiently without a lot of extra crap being thrown in there, just to be very simple about it. But I speak about cybersecurity at different conferences, I'm on the news, contribute blogs, like blah, blah, blah. But I love cybersecurity. It's a very deeply rooted passion for me, and especially because I have kids and the world that they're coming into. So,
Very nice to meet you.
thank you.
So I'll just jump right into questions.
Yeah.
So kind of a broad question. And Amanda, maybe I'll start with you, and then Mary will close with you on this one. So what is AI anyway? And why is it everywhere all of a sudden? It kind of feels like it's coming. Everyone and their mother is talking about AI. So what is it, and why is it here now?
Yes, so it feels like AI just came on the scene maybe a year and a half or so ago, but it in fact really has been around since the 50s. And it was just more of an inner circle thing within companies until the invention of what's called GPUs, which is graphical processing microchips that are able to figure out algorithms a lot faster. So they just have a lot more compute power. And then when OpenAI, I'm sure some of you've heard about OpenAI, came along with their Chat GPT, it was quite revolutionary with the large language models that were available to train the AI, which opened it up to the eyes of the world and brought down barriers so that regular people were looking at AI to use it and harness it. And then all the technology companies wanted in on the action, and it became a great race for how to harness the AI, how to be the next greatest in AI. And you may want to add to that.
Well, to her point that AI has been around for decades, and how many of you guys get coupons from Kroger or HEB that are specified to your purchasing habits? That's AI. Okay, how many of you have Netflix and it says, hey, here's what you might like? That's AI. You know, on Amazon, Kryptonite, here, would you like to look at these things to buy? That is all AI. So it's like she said, it's been around for a very long time. This is the first time that it's been released in a way that it's affecting us, because now everybody, how many of you have watched Terminator? Skynet? Like in China, it's called Skynet, and they're like building it. So it is very much that. All it is it's artificial intelligence. So it's taking data and it's able to run it through a model to be able to extrapolate data and then distribute it to the consumer so that it is beneficial. And it streamlines and makes things efficient. It's taking out all the noise. That's essentially what it's doing. It's cutting the processes down from 10 to maybe 2. So that's the everyday interaction and what AI is doing for us at this point in life. And then as it continues to grow with robots, with cars, I mean, I don't know how many of you have a Tesla. I do not. I have too many kids. Does anybody have a Tesla? Yeah, okay, so no. Everybody understands who Elon Musk is and what he's doing, but that is a very AI-driven company that is changing the way that we live our lives. And they have robots coming out later this year for $25,000 to $30,000 that are AI-driven that will actually be able to do repetitive tasks for us, like cleaning the house, putting things away, like washing dishes. I don't know if any of you have seen that stuff. This is where AI can evolve to the next iteration. You have AG4, which is not here yet. Well, it's actually here, but it's not on the marketplace. That's quantum computing. That is the next level that is going to be the equivalent of human intelligence and beyond. So it's where we're going.
If you could start with the next question. So how are businesses using AI? So you mentioned HEB, Amazon, but how are like everyday businesses using AI?
Everyday businesses, from my experience, it's the simple things that they're using, whether it's their shopping, their purchasing habits. How I'm seeing in small businesses that we care for is that they're like, how can I do more with less? So a lot of people, if you use Zoom, have you guys heard of Phantom or Fathom AI? That overlays and it records the video, then creates a transcription. That process alone is being able to save businesses a lot of time and money because they're able to have a transcription instead of having to sit there and like she is taking notes. Imagine you could set up ChatGPT, have it record the whole thing, tell it to give you a summary of everything with action items for you, and it would spit it out for you in minutes. And then you don't have to sit there and write that. So that's how businesses are starting to use it. There's Copilot with Microsoft. Copilot, they bought ChatGPT, they bought shares of that, like $600 billion worth of shares. And so they've taken that in-house and they just started, okay, I'm not gonna get where it's going because that's where I get in trouble in talking theory, but the practicality is how businesses are using it now is this function alone, Copilot that sits in Microsoft, you can train it to be your personal assistant. Okay, you can have it go through your emails. You can tell it pick out, create workflows for it, and say, okay, every email that comes from my child's school, put it in this folder, and then create an appointment for me if I have to respond for it. So you can start to train it to be a personal assistant. You have to train it. It doesn't magically do it. You can have it record your videos. I do this all of the time. I have a large team. I have it record every video, create the summary for me, create tasks, and then I send it off to everybody. And then I tell it to put it into a rock for me because I have the way my business is structured. Those are ways that we're seeing businesses use AI is more like it's taking time to do more with less. And so teaching the efficiencies for it, that's where the practicality comes into it. It's not like it's all up here. And I'm like, let's just figure out how to make us save a little bit of time and make your life easier so you can be more productive.
And that's called, you said, chat?
Microsoft has Copilot. There's a cost for it, but it's cheaper than paying a human $30,000 a year. It's $30 a month. Do the math. Yep, you've got on any Zoom, whatever, there's a thing called Fathom AI. You can look up like everyday business AI tools and it'll spit out, or heck, go to ChatGPT and ask it. Use AI to get AI.
So actually, Mary, that's a good question because we probably have varying levels of experience in the room.
Yep.
Where do people go to get ChatGPT? Is it something you download? Is it a website?
It's a website now, which can be an app, but you do have to create a login, but it's open. It's open AI. It's for everyone to consume. It's not exclusive. They're not they do have a subscription, but you just literally just Google ChatGPT or AI, and it will, there's a few, there's not Jarvis. I can't remember the names.
Google's Gemini.
Yes, Gemini, ChatGPT. There's like 5 or 6 of them.
Facebook keeps telling me to use theirs.
Yeah, no.
It took away my search bar, and it keeps telling me to search its AI instead.
Yeah, no.
I will. So just to tag off of that, what I'm seeing is the biggest benefit of AI, especially this new generative AI, and when you combine it with cloud, is data processing.
Yep.
So across all industries, the ability to process data so much faster is one of the biggest tools. So in the healthcare industry, being able to process a patient's data and analyze it much faster for better and more reliable and accurate treatment results and treatments. Also in, for example, when you combine that with digital twin technology, this is fascinating stuff where they can make a digital AI twin of a human patient, and they can test through the digital twin to figure out what works before doing it on the patient. So that's really cool.
That's amazing.
In the sustainability and environmental realm, we're seeing AI with satellite technology. They're able to find, for example, illegal fishing boats, unregistered boats around the world, because the AI with the satellites can just analyze the data and make predictive decisioning and locate these ships that we don't know about, which could also be, some sort of warships or anything else. So, and then like in the financial industry, again, it all comes down to the data for decision making and risk management and things like that. Automating everything, making things so much more efficient, speeding up processes, eliminating a lot of mundane tasks because the AI can do it. And what the cool thing about the co-pilots is the natural language ability of it. So it's bringing down barriers. You don't have to know code, you don't have to be a developer anymore, because you can use natural language to ask the AI to do things for you.
Give me an example. Like for somebody going to ChatGPT for the first time.
Oh yeah, so ChatGPT, if you've never done it before, the free version is awesome. I totally recommend the paid version, which allows you access to a lot of other tools. So on the creative side, things like DALL-E is a image generator. Also, if anybody's on Discord, there's Midjourney, which is pretty fun one to play around with, or like Adobe Firefly, are just a few creative aspects that you can use with AI to, for example, in ChatGPT, if I went to DALL-E and I was trying to think of an image in my head, I could say, I want a beautiful beach with, these colors and shells and trees and a house with whatever. And it's in my mind and I want it to, I can't find a photo like that, it'll just generate one. Same type of thing with Midjourney, it'll just generate it. Another cool thing about that is if I'm trying to figure out my, a little bit more about my target audience, I can say, I sell this product, and these are the products. What would my target audience be? And then I can ask it to generate an image of what that person would look like to give me a better idea. It'll spit out a list of the things they would generally like, so I can harness my advertising toward them. There are some good AI tools for creating entire ad campaigns really quickly and easily, where you can take a picture and it'll generate a whole ad campaign within minutes that looks very professional. I know I was at a conference, I think it was the Adobe Summit recently. Their tools, they have a lot of AI tools that I recommend that are very awesome, but they did a whole Super Bowl campaign in 3 weeks. That would normally be like months. So this is the amount of time that's being reduced by using AI. And that's like just the tip of the iceberg about how amazing AI is. But specifically ChatGPT, I've used it both professionally and personally. From a professional angle,
Are you saying chat?
ChatGPT.
Okay.
GPT, like as in Paul. GPT. Yes, GPT. So, for example, I used to try to break, like, say I needed, like, a whole several paragraphs to be, I needed it to be only 200 words. And before ChatGPT, I'd have to sit there and, like, figure out how to break that down to only the 200 words. Now I can copy paste that into ChatGPT, and I can say, narrow this down to 200 words, and it does it in a second. I can also say I'm trying to figure out a webinar or a podcast that I want to talk about. I can go in there and say, give me an abstract for an upcoming potential webinar that's going to be based about this topic for this audience that talks about key concerns and issues at the moment, and it'll just spit out an abstract. So it just is amazing for that. But on the personal side, you can go and look in your fridge and say you have like 5 items. I've been like, what am I going to make for dinner? I'll put those 5 items in, spit me out 5 recipes. Boom. Or I want to stay in 1,200 calories with this many micros of each, and I need recipes, and I'm not going to do the math for that. So I put it in there, and it would spit out the perfect recipes. So
Yeah.
Those are really great examples.
Yeah.
Ma'am?
Question,
Oh, go
and
ahead.
this is gonna make me sound very intelligent,
But we're here for questions.
if you're is that GPT, is that chat thing, is that part of like the Microsoft 365 suite or anything like that?
It's additional.
So it's additional, so
Mhm.
it is a paid thing, just like the 365.
Yeah, ChatGPT is free online. There's a free version and then there's a paid version. Chat, yeah, it's a website that you can, it's an app you can download, but you access it. That's why the open AI, that they've created it for the population to use. But Copilot is Microsoft bought ChatGPT part of it, and they brought it in-house because they understand what it is. And okay, I'm gonna not go there. But yes, like no, because I start going. It's just how my brain works, and I'm like, stop, come back over here.
I think it's good. So I'm going to get to the question I'm going to start having you think about, but I'm going to go ahead to the
Yeah.
other question. So my next question for you is going to be like, so we've talked about the positives, but I know people have a lot of concerns
Yes.
around AI. Is it going to replace us? Should we be worried? Is it taking away creativity? So I'll start with you on that one, but we'll come to the question first. There was a question in the back.
Amanda, what was the name of the one you sent the images? I couldn't understand.
There's a few different ones. DALL-E is actually available through the ChatGPT 4.
So would it be help me spell.
DALL-E. And that's part of the ChatGPT paid program.
Oh, it's part of, it's not, we don't have free images.
No, I don't believe so.
That's right.
What are we looking at in the way of business and copyright, legality, anything that would generate revenues?
So that's part of the concerns and risks. So if you want to,
Yeah,
since
yeah.
we're-
Do we want to pause, or she had a question?
Yeah, since she asked it, we can
Okay. That is all part of the unknown that has to be dealt with, and as this comes in, because there's more than just copyright, there's compliance, there's protection, there's privacy, there's a whole world, ethics, being able to hack a lot easier. Hackers, like they are the smartest business people in the world. They know how to do a lot with a little, and they work that. So the concerns with all of that is you're going to have to copyright. Like if you want to hold it, it's a large language model, so how do you track that? You're going to have to set up a business basically. Like if you just have one image and you want to protect that, then you have to go through the standard things. Otherwise, it's open. It's world sharing. It's like Reels and TikTok. It's open for whoever wants to see it. So you are giving, and it's up to you to protect whatever IP, which intellectual property that you want. So that's just one aspect, and then I'll pause until.
So would that be like copyrighting your logo?
Yeah.
For a business, and so you would suggest doing that before you did?
If you're going to use OpenAI, if you're going to use any of this, then if you want to protect it, then yes. Otherwise, don't bellyache.
But you're saying protect the results of that AI creation.
Yes.
Was that your question, or are you asking about the legality of the images?
So basically, you're saying you can't claim anything generated by AI as intellectual property and protecting us.
I don't think that that's been discovered yet. That we haven't gone to court with that. People taking that. This is a whole new world that we have to start navigating, because before people would see it's no different than somebody looking at your brand on Instagram and then they copy that and then they steal your pictures and do it. It's not right, but how do you protect what's open and you're putting out for the public? Happened 100 years ago. Somebody saw your business and they were like, that's a really great idea. Let me come over here and change the colors just a little bit, change the name. It's really no different. That side of it hasn't been discovered yet because this is new territory.
Yeah, and OpenAI is facing hundreds of lawsuits.
Yep.
And they don't care. And they knew that they would.
Yep.
Because the technology is so magnificent and world changing.
Yep.
They really didn't care. They were going to get it out there first.
Yep.
And it will not matter how many lawsuits
Yeah,
they
Sam
win
Altman don't
or
care.
don't win. It will not matter. But yeah, that hasn't been figured out yet.
Yeah.
So we'll go in order of questions. So there's one back there.
I have
and
used
then-
ChatGPT for personal, but you have to be very careful. You cannot take it verbatim.
No.
You have to read it, you have to edit it. And what I have used it for is if I have a against writing something. I can write just bullets and say, I need a paragraph of this. And it will immediately, within nanoseconds, come back with a paragraph. But I do not take that verbatim. I take it and then I edit it. But that is so much easier than writing it from scratch
Yep.
for myself. Editing is so much easier, at least for me, than it is to write it from the beginning. So that's what I use Chat GPT for. And it's
good.
great if if you're writing a lot of thank you notes, but you want them all to be different, you can do the same thing. But I would just warn you to be careful of not taking it verbatim when you take it off from Chat GPT, because like YouTube, I do a lot of reading on it, and they've tested it like in formulas and stuff. And while it comes back with a formula, the formulas are not correct.
Yeah.
So it's not ready yet for everything that
It's not perfect.
you're saying.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's a great product that you can use for every day. I mean, to help you get started with, just a small thing.
And that goes into the risks and everything like that too, which she'll be answering with. Yeah, it still tends to hallucinate and come up with random, weird, non-correct information, and it has bias, and there's a lot of other issues with it currently.
I feel like we could talk about this for hours. I know we do have to start to wrap up though to get us to our next session. So let's try going through 2 more
Yep.
questions. Is that okay?
Yeah.
We have 15 more minutes.
15 more minutes? We're okay? Okay. Was there one more question in the back? I'm just checking. Did you have one in the red one? Did you have one? A question?
She asked.
Okay, perfect. I'm just checking to make sure we got it.
My question is there any security things that we can do as far as them using like our image? Because I know that you can get videos AI generated with my face and my voice and not me. Is there anything yet that we can put in place about that? Nothing?
Don't put it out. I mean, you're not.
I know, but even if I did like something.
You will not be able to stop it. Like, that is the world we live in. So accepting the reality, like the days of anonymity are gone. If you have anything out there, it will find it and it's going to catalog it. It is data. That's all it is. It's data points. So you will not be able to stop it. That is the biggest battle that we're facing right now, is whose responsibility is it to protect deep fakes? The technology is not in place for you to have it on yourself so that you can monitor to make sure that people aren't doing that. That's not in the playing field. So right now it is in the hands of Facebook, of Google, of the big players, all big data, to be able to watch and protect that. If you've noticed on Instagram, they've started, like, you might see a reel, and if you save it and go back to it, it won't be there. And it's because it's flagging. Joe Rogan, I don't know, for whatever reason, but him and Elon Musk, the most AI generated things, and they keep getting blocked because they're using images.
Is that something that maybe in the future we'll put in place?
I think nothing's off the table. This is new technology. This is like electricity back at the turn of the last century. We're only repeating a different cycle of new technology. It's the same thing when we went from swords to bow and arrows, right? Like, it's nothing new in the history of humanity. It's only, what do we do with this now? How do we incorporate it? How do we ingest it? How do we protect it? It's just different.
There is some tools and technology being developed to try to figure out stuff made with AI and stuff that's fake. The EU is working on regulations and things like that.
Is this what they're going to use it to like say, hey, you've got your daughter and,
Yep.
and give
Yep.
us 30,000, so that's part of it.
Yep.
And AI robocalls that sound like the actual people influencing political campaigns and everything else.
Joe
And
Biden
they're
had
just
one
getting
month
that
ago.
Information off of our social media, is that correct?
Anything, you Google anybody. So if us talking this video, if it gets posted on a website, it gets cataloged. There's scripts, there's tags that basically are used. You pull it up, all you need is like 30 seconds to 45 seconds of image and voice. And then you pop it into AI and it'll generate everything.
We're all completely walking open books at this point.
Yep.
And there's so much data. Like, that's the issue, is that there is so much data now. Like, it's almost not as much of a risk anymore because there's so much data out there. All of our data is out there. Well, what are you going to do with all that data?
You can get some data off of big data, but it's a process, and it's time consuming, but you can start to pull stuff off. You won't be able to get images and not everything. There is technology out there, but it's not going to be cost prohibitive for you.
I think that there's been that.
Yeah. Yep.
If you were to start to implement an AI committee within your company, what would be, you're going to gather hand raisers and bring them together to start formulating AI systems, processes, roadmaps to make your company more efficient or to drive more revenue or to help bottom line? What would be your advice on where that committee should start?
From an operational standpoint, having a company, I would pull every department. So there's core pillars to every business. You're going to have operations, you're going to have financial, you're going to have human sources, and you're going to have sales and marketing, okay? You need to get all 4 core pillars are there. Then they need to decide, what do you want? What is my end goal? So if whatever they want to do, then you start to go back and figure out how can AI achieve that goal. Well, and I forgot IT, and because you can't do any of this without computers and security. So I always leave that one out, probably because I do it. But you need to get all those in place, have an end goal, then backtrack. It's nothing different from creating a financial goal. And then you have to see that's a whole different question when you start to come into like a policy side and compliance, because then you have to figure out, okay, how does this stack against here? What is the policy for it? Who's going to take this role? What is your accountability for it? How are you going to monitor? Because that goes into information security management at that point.
Yep, I agree with her. The biggest thing is just to bring down the silos. All the departments need to be working on this together.
Yeah, it's not just IT that has to do this, because this affects everybody in the organization. Yes.
Take away all of our creative things. What do people do about it?
I don't think creatively it's going to inhibit it. I think it's actually going to open up a new frontier for us, because now we're humans. We were built to be creative. It's who we are. So if you have tools that can help to generate it more quickly and then to pull different data together so that you're not wasting time, it's how you look at anything. So will it replace, yes, not us as a whole, right? But it's going to replace a lot of jobs, and it's going to replace things in the market. But again, you look at the turn of last century and what happened when you no longer needed farriers. You no longer needed to buy horses like we did, and we had cars. It's no different. So don't get overwhelmed by the hype that's created. This is only new technology that those who actually learn it, embrace it. You're only afraid because you don't know it. So there's a framework that I adopted that I heard somebody saying. It said, if you can't explain it, you don't understand it. If you don't understand it, you can't manage it. That's where fear comes in. You are only afraid of things you don't know. So as we do this, be curious, be open. Don't shut down and be like, oh my God, we're gonna die. Terminator comes, for the love of God, we're gonna die all the time, right? We're gonna die at some point, who cares? Just embrace it, be creative, use this for your benefit, and take it into your life and make it a tool so that you can perpetuate something amazing in this world and for legacy and for generations to come. We are at the start of a new century, of a new way of living, and we get to shape what this is going to be for the future.
Yeah, it's like the modern industrial revolution.
Yep.
So AI is just a tool like any other tool. It's like other software you use. It augments processes. It makes them more efficient, but that doesn't mean that suddenly everybody's losing their jobs. As things get more efficient, as certain tasks aren't needed and things speed up, yes, the amount of staff needed for certain departments is going to be less. But there's also going to be tons of new jobs opening up within AI. So there's a trade-off there. And as far as AI taking over the world, it is so far away from the point of having human intelligence capabilities. We are far away from that.
It's still messing up basic formulas.
One of the advantages I see with that coming down the road, which I do embrace, is, when you have the issues you have with live humans, the sick leave, the not coming in, the late,
laziness,
so
drama.
I think it's going to reduce those problems.
But
like you said, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's not going to be other types of jobs created.
but in hopes that individuals will understand how important their jobs are, so that they're not just not showing up to work for whatever reason.
It's a different motivation. Yeah.
So maybe thinking of it like, okay, maybe the car did put horse and cart out of business, but it created the opportunity for a lot of people to get new places, and it created the opportunity for Uber and Lyft, and so there's
Exactly.
new industries that so some will evolve and change and maybe reduce.
Yep.
But others will grow and spawn. And
You
have
can't
better
change
products.
human creativity.
Right.
It is who we are.
And I see AI also as being a great tool to take away, all of those really dangerous jobs. So I see it being used as, putting it into drones for when people get stuck in caves or, under rubble and earthquakes. Those are dangerous jobs to try to go in there and save those people. I see AI robotics, taking over those positions and, things like that. It'll be awesome down the road.
Casey, I'll just check in with you on time.
So, we've got like 7-8 minutes until we're done.
So maybe we'll do maybe one or two more questions and then like your closing thoughts. So any other questions? So we'll do this with Desiree and then we'll do.
What is your personal preference on platform for AI?
I only have true experience with ChatGPT or OpenAI, because it's integrated with Microsoft, and I use it outside of that. The new version, ChatGPT 4, that they just did, it's pretty cool. On the app, you can really use it. You can set it up and tell it to look at you and be like, hey, I'm going on a date tonight. What does my outfit look like? What can I change? And it'll give you its opinion based on what you've got. So
you can't ask do I look fat in this right?
yeah, no, it will tell you the truth. It'll be like, if you want to look, da 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 da.
It'll be like, your body has in
Yeah. So that's what I use. I'm not trying to get involved in everything. I'm of the prescription of find it, go deep. If it doesn't work, then move on. I don't want to try 10 different things because that's not going to be efficient use of my time. And it's all the same, basically.
You know what it makes me think of? I love Disney, so it makes me think of Snow White in the mirror. So maybe the mirror was like her AI. Of the
Yeah.
future. Sorry, it's not you anymore. She asked a question and it answered.
Yes.
She wasn't ready. She wasn't
Yes, that's really good.
ready. Amanda, what are your thoughts on Desiree's question?
It by far ChatGPT 4. I mean, that's why I pay for it. I love it. I mean, I use it for so many things. I keep thinking of new things to use it for. So, and, play around with it. I encourage you.
I really liked your examples of the recipes. Like, that's so practical.
Yes.
Like,
I
I
mean-
can see what's in my fridge. I know it. But I just would like to
Have it create. I was just talking to a lady yesterday and I was like, dude, I might make this app. So I don't know how to code worth anything, but I could ask ChatGPT, right? Do it for me. But using it, like, I've got 5 kids. I'm like, I need a menu for the week. So give me a menu and then the ingredients, like my shopping list. And then can you imagine, we'll get to this point where you can have it do that, then sync to your grocery store and put the order in for you, and then set everything up. And then it's either delivering or doing it. I'm like,
Actually, Google's integrating it very soon.
Yes.
They announced it at Google I/O.
see?
I would complain about Google
No.
taking that over from me. That is one of my least favorite activities is ordering.
Find the need, the pain,
Yes.
and fix it.
Solve it.
And I had a friend who used it for.
Yeah.
She
You
ordered
can
all
write a
these
book.
skincare products for her face, and she wasn't sure which one she should use when, like all of them together, one at night, one. She wasn't sure because she got all like a huge bundle. She took a picture of it and asked ChatGPT, and it told her exactly when and how to use all the products. I mean, it's just unlimited.
It is. It is.
So.
What was your question?
Sorry, I was like processing that. But, so aside from using ChatGPT or any type of AI, or YouTube, what other resources would you recommend to the general public to learn how to work with AI, or just with these tools that we have available? Because, I mean, like we talked about, there's people that are stuck in what they know and have trouble learning these new things. So what resources would you recommend?
Aside from just getting in there and playing around with the free versions and the trials, I like Coursera or Skillshare. Have a lot of really informative AI classes, or go to Adobe and ask for help. And they've got customer service to help you with software and programs if you want to be walked through how to use them.
Maven is another one that's doing a lot of really great courses right now. Yeah, Maven.
Google it.
Oh yeah, Google.
I mean,
YouTube
that's
videos.
yeah.
YouTube videos.
And that's the benefit of where we're at. This is the only time in humanity, there's two things for the only time in humanity. Only time that you can get fully educated, trained without having to go to a specialist, without having to go to a university or college, right? Like you can learn anything you want because it's literally at the tip of our fingers. It's also the only other time in humanity that we've had threats from across the world that can destroy your life with the touch of a button. So, give and take.
Yeah, it was actually just proven for a fact that we have other countries utilizing AI to impact our political voting process right now. So that's concerning.
Yeah.
So I might add to the process. So I used to be a training manager. I learned additional transformation strategy, just constantly looking at how people change, what they're training. And sometimes what we see is people complicate it too much, the learning process. Like how did you learn to drive? Did you do 5 courses first, or did you kind of have to get in the car and start? Or with cooking too, do you wait and do all Marcia Stewart courses first before you start cooking, or you kind of it's a progressive iterative process?
Yep.
Try something, and then the eggs might burn. So there were a lot of questions and variables for the first time using the stove, but try it and don't be afraid of failing, because you can't break ChatGPT.
No. It's learning from you basically screwing up too.
Yeah, every time you use it, you're training it more.
Yeah.
It's just going to get better and better each time.
It's a
I have
relationship.
a question. Can a speaker ask another speaker?
Yeah.
So you brought up quantum computers, which I find fascinating, and being that you're in cybersecurity, my biggest question is, what do you foresee of the future, all these people holding on to stolen keys when we get quantum computers to the level where they can crack them? How do we protect ourselves from all these people holding on to the keys right now?
It's going to the tools will have to evolve. There's no other choice, but the pain will force a need. And so right now it's non-existent, right? Because all security operates on the present need. It's not futuristic. You have some people in the industry who are already looking at quantum, but that's why passwords are going to be obsolete. That's why passkeys are starting to replace. Biometrics are going to be key, I think, for the future. But even that, and no one's going to like this, but I hate TikTok because it's owned by ByteDance is the primary owner, blah, blah, blah. You can look at all the legalities. At the end, they're monitoring your facial, your voice, all your bios. That's housed in their database. If I was a communist or a dictator who wanted to destroy America, I would do exactly what they've done. And I'm going to get a little off topic, but I'm going to circle right back to that. With all of this, we have to think of this is one of the ramifications, is that you have a government that hates us. You have BRICS, who is literally coming against the United States. They are literally forming the takedown, whatever, of the United States. But it's a formidable foe, right? That has technology, that has motivation, will. And so China has developed TikTok. Are you guys aware that they have a golden firewall that they protect all of their citizens from watching stupid crap like us, right? So their people are only allowed 30 minutes a day, and they can only watch education, history, science, math. That's it. Nothing else. But to the Western society, what have they fed us? If you want to destroy a nation 30, 50 years from now, that's what you do, okay? So it's up to us to think forward it, and quantum computing, all of that goes back to, we don't have the answers yet, but all of that will be developed. Again, it's a new frontier that's exciting that we're able to embrace and start to come in.
I really want to ask. So are you I'm sorry. We have to go to the next section. But don't
Sorry.
forget, you can find that.
Yes, come ask.
Come ask
So
all
what
your
would-
questions at the end.
Yeah.
Because we have another speaker session to go to.
You said you did training for businesses on how, not to get hacked and all of that, right?
Yes.
Okay, you have your card?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely connect with our speakers. Could we do one call to action? What would you tell people to do to get started? A lot of how do you get started? Give them one call to action, one homework item for today from each of you.
Go to ChatGPT and ask it one question. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is just go into one of these AI tools that we've presented with you today and try it out. Don't be afraid. It's
Don't
not
put
gonna hurt
passwords
you
in
to
there.
Just go in there and try it out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. And we've only got like about a 5-minute transition.
Yes.
We're trying to
Can you give me my purse, please? I should have a card with me.
I do say she gave you no movement on the video.
None. She fails. She's
You
fired.
had one job, right? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mary, I don't know if you remember me. We met at the
I
CC
do.
Network with Aknot, maybe.
Yes.
Like Nash.
You usually dress like so
Way
much
differently.
cuter.
Yeah, I usually am.
Yes,
I was
I
told
love
to wear
your style
jeans today.
Yeah, I do remember
On
you.
theme, very on theme.
Thanks, but it was
Yes,
nice to see
it was
you.
nice. I'll see you at the next season.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm helping Sherry at her table.
Okay, gotcha. Yes, ma'am.
I would love to get your card.
Yes.
I am a business consultant. We deal with cybersecurity questions all the time.
Yeah.
And we're based out of San Angelo, but our network covers 79 counties.
Okay.
So I wondered if you might be interested in doing
We-
some public speaking.
Ladies, 3 minutes
Absolutely.
and then we're gonna get started in the other room.
LinkedIn. Do you have that?
Yes.
Give me your phone and then I'll connect there because I do not have any more cards.
Do you recommend a password manager?
1Pass, or I use Password Boss, and then there's Keeper. Paid versions, never do free. Free is the most expensive. So I can connect and send you links if you want.
I follow you on